Welcome to the Halloween extravaganza, where the pain from the warriors out there will spill as we go over the most death-defying hell in a cell.
Get ready. This is
Two bros doing shows. And for our Halloween podcast, I am the ultimate warrior.
And I'm the man they call Sting.
And we, with the blood that fuels through all the warriors out there, are going to be reviewing Hell in a Cell, where they had the first women's Hell in a Cell.
One hell of a match. And quite a treat for the Animatrix.
And we saw as that cell was coming down upon the women. And then Charlotte decided to bail like Hulk Hogan. And then she beat up Sasha Banks. And then, as Sasha Banks was being loaded onto the backboards of evil, I put with the neck brace of pain. She pulled a Paul Pierce on the whole crowd in Boston, Massachusetts. And she took off the neck brace and then got into the cell.
She went in there and she, is like, whoa! And I gotta say, this was one hell of a fight. They took each other to the limit, and a limit that most wrestlers, even guys, don't go to.
Most guys never go to that limit or go to that place of the dark hole of pain. Pain which was suffered by two women who threw each other into a steel hell in the cell, who threw each other into an announce table, and then tried to break one into a table which would not break.
Yeah, the stand of the table was kind of crap.
And thus, after the match was over, your champion was
Charlotte. Bye-bye, Sasha Banks, and bye-bye to your title one.
And unfortunately, we had to bow to the infinite dark hole of the Queen.
Ain't just whistling Dixie or snorting Dixie. So, Roman versus Rusev.
Painful.
You want to talk about pain? Let's talk about pain. Pain is getting a bunch of steel wrapped around your mouth. Pain is being put through being put into the steel cage over and over again. Pain is getting a kendo stick right to the body over and over again. Rusev was taking batting practice, and Reigns, well,
was giving the bat down.
Then, of course, Rusev ends up getting beat after Roman Reigns put an incredibly strategic spear right into his gut.
Gut check time.
If there was any more pain in that match,
You would need a dentist because he stuck steel into his mouth and yanked down upon it.
Yeah, I definitely got a new set of,
You will need a new dental records for
Yeah.
Roman Reigns because that steel chain and its leaks upon it rain down from the heavens as the warriors before it that used the chain on his mouth will see his dental records and his teeth that were left in Boston.
well, it's certainly one way to get braces, that's for sure.
Braces. I would say that man will need false teeth.
So, then there was the Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins match.
And Seth Rollins went into this thinking it would be 1-on-1. However, after a very diabolical move that as a warrior I would have never done, he used a fire extinguisher to the face of the ref, thus forcing the ref to open the cage. And then
Who comes out? But then everyone's favorite stupid idiot,
Chris Jericho.
oh,
Unfortunately, Seth Rollins did not win this match because even though he powerbombed Seth Rollins, he powerbombed
him through.
Kevin Owens through not one, but 2 tables. It didn't stop him.
Nope, not even close. But even the best warriors can get in over their head. The match then went not only through just 2 tables, but I believe through 2 chairs too, correct?
Yes, it was a pump-up power bomb upon 2 chairs that were placed together like the mountains in Fiji. And they were shattered by an earthquake of a pump-up power bomb.
Next, and that ended the match which gave Kevin Owens the win.
And the Universal Championship.
Next was New Day versus Sheamus and Cesaro.
A very mediocre match considering it was for the tag team titles.
Now that match went a bit how you would expect. The New Day was doing okay, though Cesaro and Sheamus were tagging in every few minutes to get in there. They were keeping each other quite well supplied with
distractions and routines. Unfortunately, when Cesaro and Sheamus had the upper hand, Sheamus tried using Francesca #2. Unfortunately,
it went right literally over their heads.
And they were caught by the ref. And the ref disqualified them just as the power of an earthquake at the bottom of the ring was tapping, because Xavier Woods was tapping to Cesaro.
But the ref didn't see the tap. Instead, he saw trouble in paradise. Quite literally.
Because Kofi wasn't even in the match.
Thus, New Day lost due to DQ, but
the tag team titles
remained
on the New Day.
And thus, another New Day, same titles,
same old story. To the warrior.
Next was Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the Club, versus Enzo and Big Cass.
A match which was much more entertaining before it even started, because the banter between Enzo and Big Cass spirals like two planes out of control, flying into the sky. Unfortunately, the pinnacle of that entire meeting, because the match to me was subpar at best.
About as short as my bat.
It was shorter than your bat. It was shorter than peanut butter and jelly with a baseball bat.
Not to mention, I'm glad you could understand what Enzo was saying. I guess it takes a lunatic to understand a lunatic.
Exactly.
Next, Brian Kendrick and TJ Perkins. And I've got to say, this match, man, if I had any respect for Kendrick, it's gone now.
Brian Kendrick, who cried and cried like a baby for a title shot because he swore that this was his last chance at a title because he was 37. And unfortunately, he couldn't get it done in a legal sense. So he faked a leg injury and got all TJ Perkins worried. And then he headbutted him with the weakness of someone who wasn't a warrior. And then he won. And you know how much I hate cheaters.
As much as you hate Hulk Hogan.
More! And he won the cruiserweight title.
He was indeed the man with the plan.
He was also the man that got talked up by a fan on camera because they told that hippie to get a fucking haircut.
Whoa! Next, we have Goldberg.
And Goldberg came out on camera and he told everyone that he was better. And then Paul Heyman tried to psych out a warrior. And then Rusev tried to say something in a language I do not understand.
That's kind of a thing for you, isn't it?
Yes.
So, anyways, because Rusev came out and Paul Heyman was still out there talking up Brad Lesnar, the yeast incarnate.
And why did you call him this?
Because the fool takes so long to rise. Not to mention the fact that, he's just soft. Do I gotta spell that out for you?
SAWFT?
Soft!
Do not
So,
hit me.
anyways, as soon as Rusev was done talking, we all got sick of it pretty quickly, including Bill Goldberg.
Who then lifted him up to the sky and then dropped him
Dropped him like a
into the nothingness of the abyss with a jackhammer.
Paul Heyman didn't get away either.
No.
That fat schmuck, poor guy, got a spear right in the belly.
Belly. I'm surprised he can see the ground.
Got me on there.
That dude needs some CrossFit.
That dude needs some lipo. Just saying. So, unfortunately, Lesnar wasn't actually there, though, to begin with.
Because he was a coward.
And like all cowards, they never want to fight.
Never.
Of course, Brock Lesnar is just one of those guys that's too afraid to fight. He does it, I mean, no one's gonna. He never wants to take on anyone.
He only wants to fight 4 times in a year.
Which is pretty downright pathetic if you think about it. I mean, what kind of guy goes into wrestling, wrestles 4 times a year, and then takes the rest of the year off? That's not a wrestler. That's a stuntman.
Batista. But I will tell you about what happened with Bailey. Because Bailey had a match against Dana Brooke.
Actually, are we talking still about
Hell in a Cell,
Yes.
where that hair patting diva got her ass whipped by Bailey. And then afterwards, on Raw's Wannabe Talking Smack, Raw Talk, Bailey challenged Charlotte to a title match, in which on Monday she declined.
Because, just like any other Flair, she's a coward.
Or she is just a wheeling, dealing son of a gun.
Sure, coward. But the person that ended up facing Bailey was none other than another beast, a real beast, a fighting beast, Nia
Nia
Jax.
Jax, whose size does not overshadow her ability, which is to say she is large,
And in charge.
larger than anyone in the cruiserweight division.
I think you mean in the women's division, friendo. Just saying.
She still won.
Yeah, Nia Jax annihilated Bailey, which Bailey was ill prepared to face someone of Nia Jax's stature. I mean, that would be like TJ Perkins taking on the Big Show. And believe me, not much can take down the Big Show.
Except for Brock Lesnar.
And me, the man called Steen.
And of course, there was a bit of banter between the ladies because the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match is coming, just like winter is coming, just like Christmas, even before Halloween, is coming.
That's saying something, alright. So anyways,
The fact is,
so Nia Jax is officially on the women's SmackDown roster. It's also important to note that night that another group, another addition has been made to the men's roster, which,
the tag team roster.
yeah, so New Day is officially in the 5-on-5 tag team match.
And are the captain of Raw's tag team roster. And they will be taking the New Day farther and farther and higher and higher up.
Not to mention also, Mick Foley came out to talk to Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, saying that he wants both of them in the male 5-on-5 singles Survivor Series competition. Which, an interesting note, apparently Stephanie McMahon only wanted the Universal Champion, not Chris Jericho.
And Mick Foley also commented on how disappointed he was about how they made a mockery of the cell.
Well, if I were him, I'm gonna just, bash their heads in. But that's just me. Also, during that time, Roman Reigns decided to come out. I mean, the guy just won his match at Hell in a Cell. He could have rested a little, but no, because he's a fighting champion.
And he must have been sorer than a World of Warcraft player without a bottle of Bengay.
Or so than clearly the amount of hemorrhoids that Stephanie's been getting after all of these, incidents with Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens.
Because she's just been sitting on her ass.
So, because Roman Reigns came out and Chris Jericho is mocking him, a match was made. A title match was made.
U.S. title match, which is apparently the only title that Jericho had never, ever won.
Hey, I won that title.
But you're not Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho, he's a stupid idiot. Just like he calls everyone else. But, he put up a good fight for about a while. Up until he was about to lose, then, well, why don't you cover that part?
His best friend came in and did the job for him by getting him disqualified. And if there's anything that boils in the blood of a warrior, it is cowards like Chris Jericho, who dress like they are from a movie that featured someone who shopped from a Hot Topic or Banana Republic.
So the match ended in a DQ, and then, as Roman Reigns was getting the crap just kicked out of him so bad, I mean, I haven't seen a butt kicking that bad since my NWO days. But anyways,
I thought it would be you haven't seen a butt kicking that bad since you were beating the NWO days.
Exactly. So anyways, as he was getting his butt kicked, none other than Seth freaking Rollins comes out and decides to help him out.
Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and people were screaming, "Shield."
So that brings up a good question. Are we gonna see a Shield reunion soon?
If all three of these members are on Team Raw and Ambrose is on Team SmackDown, will the three get together and annihilate every force that stands and continues to stand in their way?
Other than that, though, Raw was pretty slow. Most of it gimmicks revolving around Halloween, such as the trick or street fight that Enzo and Big Cass had against. Who was it? The Club.
Yes, and unfortunately Enzo and Big Cass were dressed as the people from Toy Story, Woody and Buzz.
Well, he'd certainly have to go above and beyond for a joke like that.
But why? Why would you let the short one be Buzz? Right, yeah!
I don't know.
And then you saw them put a pumpkin on the head of Luke Gallows, whose head it didn't even fit on!
He was smashing a few pumpkins of his own.
Was that a message to Billy Corgan?
What, that he has a fat head?
No. The WWE is coming! Coming! Coming like a herd of elephants in the raids down in Africa for its company!
Perhaps. Or perhaps there's just a bit of good fun. But
Especially when they threw his head when the bobbing for apples.
Bobbing for apples, and then nice little smack there to the jaw. And
With the apple in his mouth.
don't have a heart attack now.
This is not Tuesday.
So, anyways. Oh my god. So, anyways. I forget who won that match.
It was Luke Gallows.
Right. Apparently Andy and the big gal went out.
Which is, by the way, the nickname for the two bald sissies.
I wonder if being bald is a prerequisite to join the club, or if they're just going to change the names to the Bald Empire.
I don't know. But if there was more to join, it should be Stone Cold and The Rock.
Oh, that would definitely bring a much needed flair of entertainment to that group.
Obviously, age is not a prerequisite to join, as Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are in their late 30s.
Yeah, well, in that case, then Brian Kendrick needs to shut the hell up. So, Anything else we need to cover?
Only one. One thing which boils in my blood. And that's one thing. I hope you all had a happy Halloween!